make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. David Daz versus Goliath courts. So I saw a short with Destiny. Right now he has blue hair. He came into space a few times having conversations, dope conversations. Um, and the short he talked about fathers, like I guess fathers who win custody of the minority, and they're also and they're the minority of a minority because most fathers don't fight for custody. And I think that perspective is unrealistic and misguided, especially for people who don't have kids. I think he doesn't have kids, who's never actually been in a family court situation. Um, if you wind up going to family court, you're basically fighting for custody. But the problem is, dad's a little man versus a giant, which is um, you would say the corporation of family courts. What was that documentary called Divorce Court? Of how divorces work, because that spills into family court. That is family court. It's unrealistic because I think, honestly, let me say this first. I think family court, especially for non-black men, is their first real understanding of what racism is. Because you walk into a building and all the cards are stacked against you. And no matter how good you are, you're already you're there is no no even playing field. It's just straight home field advantage. So when you go into a court, 50-50 custody is assumed. But primary custody, custodian, the custodial parent it kind of is like a default given to the mother. So what you're basically doing is you're going in court fighting for custodial rights to be taken away from the mother, because the courts, not even saying inadvertently, but not explicitly, but implicitly, they've already implied that mom's going to have the baby. So what you wind up fighting is the judge wants mom to have the baby, the lawyer wants mom to have the baby, um, your lawyer might want mom to have the baby, depending on which kind of lawyer, depending on how your lawyer is, because there are lawyers who do that. Because it's not a trial, it's basically people and their feelings and opinions. There's not many situations where a court and lawyers will go, you know what, Ma, you can't have this kid. Um, it's graded on a curve. Like, to get an A, you need a 90 or above as a man. To get an A as a mom, you need a 10 or above. Just using regular grades so no matter, as long as you score a 10 on your parenting exam, you're fine. If a man can score 100, you can score 10. You're the better parent. That's just basically how it's set up. And why I say that is because, in certain states, I think most states, they have these, not statutes, but not requirements, but they have this list. Well, you could kind of say standards, requirements, whatever, of, it could be 10 things, it could be 20 things, who has this, who has this, who has this, who has this, who has this. And say, you would think, okay, let's just use 10. If you got 6 out of 10, that means it should lean in your favor. Either way, right? If The court needs who has the better situation out of these 10 things with the child. If you got 6 out of 10, you assume that's the winner. No. But if you're a man and you get 6 out of 10, you lose. You get 7 out of 10, you lose. You get 8 out of 10, you lose. You get 9 out of 10, you still lose. So when people say, fathers win 10% of the time, it's because he's David with the sling going against Goliath, which is the, you know, complex, corporation of the courts. On top of that, I think the courts have an issue with collecting money from women. You know, like I know somebody who won custody, and the judge asked him, like, "Do you really want to put her on child support?" Like, if a real man wouldn't put a mother on child support, and like, if it was me, you would put me on it, right? Judge like, "Oh yeah." It's like, but you're the judge, but you want to influence this, and it made absolutely no sense. So when I say, Dad's David in the courts of Goliath, you know, that's just what it is. So don't when people assume that guys don't try, no, guys absolutely try. You know, but there's a financial point where how much do you have to lose to win or lose? Mothers don't have to come out of pocket like fathers. That's the issue. Because basically, what you got to do sometimes is you basically got to pay the fee to pay off the courts, to get custody. Like, it's like extortion. Like, look, I spent $100,000. You give me my kid. Judge, man, how much? Let me get my beak wet. Let me get about 20 G's about you, and then we could discuss this further. You know, because the other way around, it's like, think about it. They're looking at the long term effects. I get 20 G's from you now, cash, okay, but how much can we get over these years, and can we get you to owe interest and get locked up? Man, I don't know, because a lot of this stuff pays into judges' retirements. And my dog is tripping. But so when you're paying into people's retirements, in essence, they're looking at it. So, like, who's most reliable to keep this money flowing into my retirement account? And it's men. So that's part of the equation. That's why it's David, Dad's David, and the family court is Goliath. So that's just my point. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch y'all on the next one. Peace.